Greg O'Keeffe, always an amazing atmosphere at Goodison Park, but this week it'll be even better because Manchester City are coming and all the Reds in Liverpool will want the Blues to win.
That's right, yeah. I mean, this sort of scenario has been one that's been kind of bubbling under for a few weeks when people have speculated could it happen. And now, here we are, Liverpool fans urging Everton on to win, and some Everton fans certainly feeling conflicted about it because clearly if their team can repeat their quite often feat of beating City at Goodison, it could give the title momentum back to the City rivals and ensure they never heard last of it for the next God knows how many years. So it's going to be an interesting dilemma, really. There's no dilemma for Roberto Martinez. I spoke to him yesterday and he was very clear on the matter. He said, we're going in to win. It's not about anyone else, it's about us. We can still get 75 points. He's not given up on fourth place, even though the hopes of getting there are clearly dwindling. And he believes that, even if it's just a case of getting the victory in the bag and moving on to the last game against Hull, to finish with 75 points, i.e. getting 6 more, would be a really symbolic point. It would be a Premier League points record for Everton, and it'd give them a really high standard for next season. So, I mean, clearly, very defined goals for him. And he also added that, why would you rather, if your rival's going to win the league anyway, you'd rather have had a say in that and be able to turn around to them and say, well, you wouldn't have won it without us. So that's his logic anyway.
Because that's it, this is an Everton that is about winning, isn't it? They don't just play for a point or play for a draw anymore. They are a team that goes out there to win. And Martinez wants those points, and it's a bogey ground for Manchester City as well, Goodison Park.
It is. Yeah, Everton got a great record against City there. I have to say that's been under David Moyes, and David Moyes has always played against City a certain way. So it's going to be fascinating to see how Martinez's way of playing against these big sides, which is no fear, sin miedo, play them at their own game, go toe to toe. They'll have attack, we'll attack, and may the best attack win. Try and control the game through possession. It'll be interesting to see how that does. But then Everton, Martinez and Everton have shown a bit of tactical flexibility when they needed to. Against Arsenal and Man United, they kind of played a 4-3-3 and counter-attacked, and that worked very well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in terms of the tactical shake-up. We've heard David Silva's going to be playing, so that'll introduce a whole new element to Everton's thinking. But the most important thing for Martinez, and I think for most Blues, is just to get the win. Arsenal don't play until the Sunday. So at least for 24 hours, there's a good chance that if you get a win, you're still in the mix for top 4. And I don't think, imagine if these fans were saying, well, they should just throw it. Imagine if they did that and then Arsenal got beat. How would they feel then? So I think it's all banter, it's all a bit of, good-natured sort of ribaldry, but come tomorrow evening, when that whistle goes, Goodison's going to want to win.
And just a final quick word on Gareth Barry. Of course, he's ineligible for selection. Manchester City is his parent club. Roberto Martinez has talked about reforming the loan rules this season quite a bit. What do you think? Is it time that these rules were torn up and rewritten?
Yeah, I agree with Roberto Martinez. You've seen UEFA have taken a different slant on it, and Thibaut Courtois was able to play for Atletico, rightly so. I think if a club that signed so many players on big contracts that they can't realistically give them all playing time, then decides to send them out on loan to either get them off their wage bill or to further progress their development. I think if they make that decision, they've got to be prepared to say that the club that takes them on is then able to field them in all competitive fixtures. And I think, the other hand is that maybe Everton wouldn't get players like Barry if clubs like City thought, well, Everton, for example, beat them up quite a lot at Goodison. We're not going to give you one of our better midfielders even if we don't need him. So, there is that to think of, but the principle of it, I think, yes, Martinez is right, they should be able to play.